Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on this Tuesday morning. Dragon men are heating back up at the right time here. We got 2 weeks to go in the regular season. The Dragons have won 6 of their last 7. They're getting healthy as well as we get near the end of the regular season and stare ahead to the NSIC tournament in Sioux Falls. Great to have Tim Bergstraser back with us. It is Tuesday, 10:35 time slot. For everybody healthy on the home front, I know you've been battling like I have. Everybody good?
Yeah, we're chipping away, man. It's like I said, it's been a brutal 2 weeks. It's been fun as a father to just have some time with my kids. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but again, we all love our routines, and I sit there and try to watch film as much as I can. But again, they're a toddler and a 4-month-old. They always need your attention in some
Yep.
way. So it's been a battle, but yeah, we're fortunate.
So,
They're all back and
well,
healthy.
that's great. You're dealing with that. You're dealing with injuries on your own team. This is just the grind, right? That's probably the name of the game for this season.
Yeah, it's never ending. And again, you know how it is going into a season. It's not always going to be just sunshine and rainbows and daisies, man. There's going to be some ugly days, and it's not always a smooth path. So you just continue to show up every single day and have the right mindset. Living with gratitude and just trying to find the best solution for anything.
Well, we showed the highlights last Thursday, Tim, of your guys' game in Minot, which I know that had to feel good because Minot came here and walloped you guys right before Christmas. They hadn't lost at home yet. That's a big win. Just to go out there and play the way you did. Describe of the team's performance last Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's so difficult to go there and win. Like we told that the veterans understand that the freshmen and the newcomers they just don't get it. And until you go there, like every game that we've gone there, it's just a freaking brawl, and that's what makes it fun. Don't get me wrong,
Yep.
but our guys they showed up. They're ready to compete. They executed a game plan. It wasn't perfect and pretty, but above all, like every single one of our guys played to their role and what we needed them to do. And I think that's been just the makeup of our team here lately. We just had to all take a step back and like, hey, this is what we're asking out of all you guys individually, what we believe will bring our team success. So to see our guys really execute that and step up, I mean, that's what makes this process fun. So to leave that place with a win, I mean, we had to remind our guys again after the fact is even like especially a double digit win,
Yeah.
like pretty impressive for a young group and guys that just don't get it. But after rewatching the Minot game here when they smacked us pretty good, it just wasn't us. There's a weird vibe, and obviously Cobb went down, which didn't help. But even then, like we showed some clips obviously, and our guys understood like that just wasn't us. We
Mm.
played soft in way too many areas, and just so we believe that we are a better team since last time they played us. And again, our guys just executed a game plan on both sides of the floor effectively.
Well, we've talked plenty about Carson Johnson, but that goes right to the point you're talking about. He hadn't played out there before, and then has the kind of second half where he hits 4 threes. I know he doesn't know what he doesn't know yet, but have him play the kind of role that he has in the latter half of the season, I mean, the confidence just got to be oozing out of him right now.
Yeah, and if you were to sit down and talk with him one on one and just watch him in practice and how he goes about his business, he is such a humble young
Yeah.
man. Like, he's a very mature and humble young man, and he really has a mindset to just do whatever it takes to help his team to win. And again, we've sat down and told him, what we believe he should be doing for our team, and he's just trying to carry that out to the best that he can. And he's had his bad days or his up and down days, which is typical for any true freshman in the NSIC. But I just got to we continue to remind him, just like, hey, it's not always pretty. Just keep working. You're going to be an outstanding player for this program here moving forward. So just these days will happen. It's all about how you're going to respond to them. And he's showed up every single day and responded well. So it's not easy for a young man to every once in a while get your butt kicked and not things go your way. But for him to respond the way he does is pretty impressive.
So let's give us as much update as you can. I know Jameer Price came back and played a couple weekends. He hasn't played now in the last couple games. Where is that with Jameer and with Jacob Benega and getting them back in the lineup?
Yeah, so for both of them, it's just a day-to-day process right now. I really don't have a timetable by any means. Like I said, we're kind of just waiting on our trainer's input every single day here. Is it good or bad? Or are we taking some steps backwards? So it really is just a day-to-day process right now. And they've done both Cobb and Jameer have done an incredible job of just being present with the team and trying to still find a way to bring that leadership for our program when they can't be out in between the lines all the time. So we're really hopeful.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be this weekend, next weekend, tournament time. I really don't know. So it's more so just trying to figure out what we got right now with who's playing, And then if we have a chance to bring in some pretty dang good basketball players, we'll try to figure out our rotations once again. So, but that's a good problem to have if that time does come.
Uh, how difficult is it in practice where are you looking over saying, okay, what are they doing? Yeah, are they doing enough? Are they getting close? How do you gauge that as a coach?
Yeah, and they've done a good job of so like Cobb and Jameer were doing their training during practice there for a little bit. And then we all kind of sat down and talked, and it's like, hey, I think it's good for you guys still to be around in practice, even if you're just sitting on the sideline,
Yeah.
which is not but I mean, they're getting a little more active. I mean, they're all hitting the ellipticals and they're getting a little more physicality into their life. So it's, they've done a great job. It's just not easy for them. I know they're just itching and you could tell they're frustrated, but again, it's out of their control. I mean, the things that happen to them are just freak accidents, just,
Yeah.
not physical play. And that's just how it goes sometimes. But like I said, they've done a really good job just sitting there and helping our team out without being on the floor.
So we were visiting off air, and if you haven't paid attention to the top of the NSIC men's standings, I mean, I can't remember a time, maybe you do, you're in this, that as close as it's been, because right, I look between first and eighth, it's basically where you guys are at, are separated by a game and a half. So if you have a really good weekend, before you know it, you could be up to the second or third in the league.
Yeah, that's why I think everybody should just take a screenshot right now because I really don't think. And it's funny because like a couple people, my coach and friends have sent me a screenshot of the standings because it's bizarre, and I'm not really surprised because there's so many good teams in our league and we're kind of just beating the crap out of each other. You know what I mean? So it's something I haven't seen really since I've been in the league right now.
Yeah.
All we can do is, anybody would say it's coaches talk, but all we really can do is just worry about today. And, the most important game is the one on Friday. And we can't worry about anything beyond that because if we do, we're going to get caught up in the wrong thing. So, I mean, that's just all we can really ask for out of our guys. But it's going to be a very, very interesting 2 weeks. So, as someone who's a fan of NSIC basketball, if you're sitting and
Let's
watching on
go.
the
Yeah.
outside,
Right.
you just can't wait to look at these box scores after every game because there's going to be some interesting shifting, I believe, in these next 2 weeks. So, but again, for me, we just got to worry about our group and today in practice.
And the 4 games you have left are all teams ahead of you. So I mean, you could really boost yourself. But you do you want that kind of competition level gets you ready for the tournament, right? Because these are the teams you're going to have to beat to win the thing in Sioux Falls.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm excited, and I know our guys are too, because like you said, they're the 4 teams we have left on our schedule. They're very good basketball teams. They're playing their best basketball,
Yeah.
and not like to believe we're getting to that point of playing our best basketball too, with this new rotation. But yeah, I'm eager to get into some good environments, playing some really good competition, and seeing where we stand. And that's all that we can ask for out of our program is just show up and compete your tails off, and whether you win or lose, just make sure you show up in that game and fight. And we'll see where it shows. But yeah, I thought a little bit about it. It's gonna, everybody says battle tested. I believe it could get us, prepared for that NSIC tournament. But again, I really try to rewind my mind and just put myself where my feet are at and just really understand I got a lot more things to worry about than tournament time right now.
You've won 6 of 7. Is that just a confidence thing? What have you seen over the last 7 games? Say we're trending more to the team I thought we could be.
I think it's just come down to like if you really break it down to coming out of Christmas break, we went on that 5 game losing streak and we were right there in majority of those games.
Yeah.
Duluth beat us pretty good, CSP beat us good, but we're just finding out and growing on how to win. We haven't known how to win yet with a lot of these new faces. I mean, you look at Logan Kinsey, he's a returner from last year. Jenny played off the bench last year and he's turned into an animal. But our team is starting to figure things out. I think that they're thinking a lot more clearly. They really do believe that we can contend against anybody. And as they should. I believe we are a good basketball team. We could compete with anybody, but just what's going to be our mindset. But I think a big important thing too is we're finding some consistency within our rotation. And for me as a coach, we've been sitting here trying to do a lot of trial and error with our bench and guys, redefining their roles and stepping up and playing within them roles. So, I mean, if you look at our bench, there's guys like Eddie Benenga, Will Kinsey stepped up tremendously for our group. I mean, if you look at our, 3 of our 6 games or whatever it is, he's like finishing our games, like playing 10 to 15 minutes to finish games. It's just funny how things pan out sometimes. But I keep telling people just for me as a coach, our consistency and our rotation, I think that's just really helped out our program because guys just know who's coming in, who's going to play where, and we're just building that chemistry again to play a little more consistent as a group.
I got to give a shout out to your big guy on Saturday, 10 of 12 at the line, which I know you ended up winning by comfortable margin by 18. But was that he was going to get opportunities to go to the line? How impressed were you that he was able to knock down his free throws on Saturday?
I'm not surprised. I'm really not.
Um,
Obviously, that's huge. If you got a 7-1-5 man that could do that, I mean, that's incredible. You
yeah,
don't see
right.
that a lot. And,
No.
obviously people have seen Jenny's been shooting a lot more threes for us as well. And we're always joking and running our mouths in practice whenever he's open just to throw it at the rim. It's like, because he's a great shooter. He really is when you work him out. So it's like, I want you shooting 1 to 2 threes a game. And then as you get more comfortable, watch out. So and I'm happy for Jenny. He's just continuing to grow, and he's growing into a vocal leader for our group too. But it's a free throw game. So
Yeah.
I told us, I don't care what position you are, you got to step up and make those, especially when I play at the end of the games.
The coaching at an end of a game like that, how much does that change strategy wise for you, if anything, when you've got a detail of who's out there, guy who can make free throws? How much is that in the back of your mind, or how exactly, hey, this guy's good, we got to get him out there because he can make free throws?
Yeah. And yeah, so you could tell like some teams like, all right, it's time to foul, and they're trying to
Right.
seek out the poor foul shooters. You try to keep them away from the ball maybe a little bit. But for me, it comes down to just flow of the game. How are certain individuals playing? What matchups might, if we're up a little bit, do we need a defensive lineup out there? What's our best rotations for that? So I'm a big believer on just production and how someone might be doing that game. And, I think that's my job as a coach. And thankfully I have a great, assistants and associate head coach, Spencer Bland. I put so much on them so I can just focus on rotations and flow and feel the game rather than worried about 15 different things as the game is going on. I won't be able to think clearly. But again, when you're playing in those winning time situations, no matter how it's going, no matter how many minutes someone's played, you're probably going to have your quote unquote best players out there, all your veterans, even if they haven't sat a minute. You're going to put those people on the floor that have just won games for you before, and just because again, you can't waste too many possessions.
Last thing before I let you go, we had Carson on last week, and I asked him to tell the story of you guys going to him saying, "Hey, we're going to play." Can you give us your end of that of what his facial reactions were like? Was, "Hey, we're going to need you, and you're going to start"?
When we pulled his red shirt,
Yeah.
is that what you're saying? Yeah, so we were, after Cobb went down, we were in my office, and I looked at Spencer and just said, "Hey," we both looked at each other like, "Hey, Carson Johnson, do we do it?" And then, ironically, like I told you, his parents were there in the main gym getting some shots up. So it's a family decision, and we want to make sure he understood that. We left it completely up to him. And then, I mean, Carson, again, he's a very low key guy, which you gotta love him. But when
Yeah.
it comes to competition, he's just a competitor. But he just gave us a smirk. He's like, "Coach, I just want to play." So I
Yeah.
was just like, "All right." I mean, that's what I was like. That's why you're our kind of guy, man. I mean, he didn't bat an eye. And again, we told him you're not going to come in. We're not going to pull your red shirt and you're going to play 10 minutes. Like, I'm going to pull your red shirt and you're
You're
going
going
to
to play.
start
Yeah.
and play 30 plus minutes a game for us. So he just took it and rolled with it. He's a special young man. I mean, we're very, very fortunate to have him.
Or in the case of the St. Cloud game, play 50 minutes, right? He didn't come off the floor, correct?
No, it's when someone's rolling, it's hard. And I mean, you could ask like Cobb or any of our veterans that we've ever had here. It does come to a point, especially in those close games. Like I'll just always ask them, like, "Hey, are you good? Hey, are you good?" Or they just know to tell me like, "Hey, coach, I need like a quick 1 minute," and then I'll get them in and out.
Yeah.
But again, when you're playing those very, very close games, have a lot of possessions to waste. You just leave your horses on the floor, basically.
It's great to see you, bud. Glad everybody's doing better at home. Safe travels and good luck this weekend. We'll talk next week, okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Tim Bergstraser joining us, MSUM men's basketball head coach. Dragons are on the road this weekend. Couple of biggies going to Duluth on Friday, then Concordia St. Paul on Saturday. We'll take our final break. We come back. We got a couple emails to catch up with, and we'll get you ready for a busy Sports Tuesday. That's coming up on Hot Mic Wraps right after this.